Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Roundabout Town podcast. My name is Anton Garcia-Fernandez, and we are in Jackson, Tennessee, where we interview some of the people around town and also around the West Tennessee area that do things that we believe to be interesting. And here we have, here at the Community Montessori School, Westwood Avenue here in Jackson, Tennessee, we have Grayson Hart, who is directing here at the school a play for the Lights Up Theater Company, and the play is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Welcome to Roundabout Town, Grayson, and thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I hear that you are a student at a local high school here. You're a senior.
Yes.
And I wonder, how did you get interested in the theater and drama and all of this kind of thing?
Gotcha, yes. So I started when I was 5. That was my first adventure into theater, and from then I was kind of hooked in it. I really wanted to be on stage, and then my sophomore year in high school, I had the opportunity to direct a full-blown musical. And I really found out that I kind of liked being on the creative, and also because I'm a control freak, a little bit on the control side of everything. And I found that I really, really enjoyed it. And so an opportunity opened itself up in my junior year, and I was like, I think this is what I want to do. I want to open a community, a theater for younger youth levels, and kind of make it really entertaining and fun, and teach them all the different sides of theater. And so that's what I did. So as I went from my junior year into my senior year, I opened up Lights Up Theater Co., and here we are now.
So this is a fairly recent endeavor,
Yes,
and
it is.
what kind of things have you done so far, besides, of course, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which we will talk about in just a little bit?
Yeah, so we had our first on-stage production in October of 2021, which was a musical called Angie. It was a parody of Annie the musical, and it dealt with a lot of political issues and different things. And it was super funny. It had a really modern comedy, almost kind of like 2 hours worth of SNL. It was super, super fun, and that was our first move in Jackson, and it got a lot of people talking, a lot of people interested in what we were and who we are, and it was really fun.
So now, as you have chosen Charlie and Chocolate Factory for this new production, it is not the musical version, though.
No, it is the play version. So we're doing something a little different. We wanted to give the opportunity, because we know that the people we had in Angie were older. They were mostly high school students, and those people are going to go on, and they're in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but they will end up graduating. And so when they graduate, we were like, who are we going to be left with? We had to raise up younger actors and give them an opportunity so that they can grow, and so that when they approach high school and middle school, they're ready to take on those bigger lead roles and ready to do full-blown musicals or 2.5-hour shows that aren't just an hour and 20 minutes like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
So why did you choose Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in particular? Is there any specific reason for that? Because it's a very well-known children's book by Roald Dahl, and also a huge hit in the movies. A couple of versions out there. My favorite, of course, is the one with Gene Wilder, but there's a newer one with, I think, Johnny Depp.
Yes, Johnny Depp.
So why Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Well, it came down between two. We really wanted to do something that was geared towards children and also had some literature base. That's kind of, I always like picking shows that have a book or something connected to it, not necessarily just a movie, because it's easier to pull ideas from a book than I think from a movie, because then you just kind of end up copying that movie, and that's not what we really want. And it came down between Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Alice in Wonderland, and I really just liked the innocence of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and also the use of imagination, because I think genuinely that's what theater is suspending your belief of what's happening on stage. And I thought that would be a really fun opportunity, and it gave us a lot of different aspects of bringing in different technical sides, like different color lights and bubbles on stage, and people flying across the stage with squirrels that take them, that different kind of theater aspect. I felt like it opened us up to a lot of things, and really gave each child an understanding of all the different things that happen in a theater production.
How much of your own input is there in what the audience will see in about a week or so when this premieres? How much have you worked on putting this play together?
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I want to say it was probably the middle of September last year that I sat in my floor and went between the scripts of Alice in Wonderland and this version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And so since then, I have worked on the show. I have traveled to Memphis to purchase costumes in the middle of October. thought of ideas, reread the script, learned the script, because yes, the actors have to know their lines, but I also have to know their lines so that I make sure they're saying the correct thing. So instead of just memorizing one character's, I have everyone's lines in my head. Figuring out lights, technical elements. I mean, probably since September of 2021, I've been working on this production, and then once January hit and we had auditions, it was go time from then. There's been no day that has not gone by that I have not worked on something with a production.
And all of this while trying to finish your studies at JCS.
Yes, finishing out my senior year, yes. So it's balancing two different worlds, yeah, completely.
Now, working with kids and working with teens on these productions like Charlie and Chocolate Factory, in what ways and how much do you think that drama and theater helps kids and teenagers? What skills do they develop by participating in these activities?
Well, for one, public speaking, right then on the forefront of it. They gain a sense of public speaking in front of people. They also have to have maturity. A lot of this, they have to know what they're doing and be at the places they've got to be at, backstage and moving things. Like, most of the actors do have other responsibilities, whether that's changing their costume or going to their next space on time. They don't each have a teacher moving them from place to place like they do every day in a classroom or giving them instructions. They have to kind of establish what they need to do on their own. So a lot of maturity, independence from it, public speaking, and I think honestly, theater in itself gives them a safe space, a place that they can find comfort in and take them out of what's going on in their own personal life and give them the opportunity for a couple hours a day to play a different character and be in this fun environment.
Is that part of why you were drawn to the theater you studied?
I think so. I think it gave me a comfort level of knowing no matter what, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday of the week I'd be at some theater rehearsing something, or even on the weekends learning new choreography for a certain specific dance number. And I think it just gave me a fun group of people that were very like-minded that I enjoyed expressing my creativeness with.
And as you choose plays, like in this case it's Charlie and Chocolate Factory, you're thinking about Alice in Wonderland, and you mentioned Angie before. What do you look for in a play, Grayson? Is there anything in particular that you like to have in the plays that you produce or that you maybe will produce in the future?
I like to have a sense of something fresh, something that hasn't been done. I do like revisiting stuff that we have seen in Jackson before, but I like adding my own take into it. I like not necessarily copying other productions and bringing something fresh and new and exciting. And I kind of like going into it blind, not thinking too much about, do we have this person who can play this role? I really like going into it knowing, okay, we have X amount of people, so I need to pick a show with this cast size, and then just kind of seeing who walks in the door, who really embodies that character. And I like finding different things and new things. I'm not necessarily set on one specific like classic style or fairy tale. I like looking at everything and just reading different things. I have a bookshelf at home just full of different scripts that I just love going through and thinking maybe one day we can do this. So that's kind of just how I genuinely pick shows.
Is writing your own productions, does that figure in your future, maybe long term?
Yeah, I would honestly love to dabble in writing a play or even a musical one day. I think that'd be extremely fun. I think that'd be wonderful.
Now the play is going to be produced at the auditorium of the Community Montessori School here
Yes.
in Jackson, but I hear that not all the actors actually come from this school.
No. So we have about 55 kids in this show, and 37 of them are Jackson-Madison County School students. Some of them are from CMS, some of them are from Thelma Barker. We have a couple that are from Madison Academic, all different places, high school, lower elementary, or even I think we have a couple middle schoolers too. And we also have some private school kids, and we also have several homeschool students.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like the theater features enough, or is featured prominently enough in the school system in this part of the country from what you've seen?
I think it depends. I think that private schools are extremely lucky right now because they have a lot of funding to back their own programs. And I think public schools have the public school theaters that we do have are really awesome, and I enjoy seeing their productions, and I know most of them and keep up with the theater teachers there. But I do think that lower elementary school or even middle school kind of lacks out on some of those elements of theater, and they don't really get to see that many opportunities. And so that's one reason that we really love having shows here at Community Montessori and working with Dr. Harris, and how supportive she is of this, because it gives us a chance for them to have an opportunity after school to be involved in a show.
And going back to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, as you've been working with the kids and with the different actors, what difficulties have you encountered with this production that you can share with the audience?
Probably the size of kids. 55 is a lot. With over 100 auditioning, I felt like I wasn't going to be able to cut it down to 55, and then now I'm like, maybe I should have cut it a little bit more. But no, just getting them to learn their lines has been a thing, and also most of them have never been involved in a production ever before, so this is like a total new world to them. So I think it has been a little bit of a struggle, but it's been pretty awesome seeing the ones who have been involved in shows help each other out and work together to kind of give them little tips and tricks. I think it's been super cool to see the older kids mentor the younger kids in this production.
How important is that, do you think, in a theater group like Lights Up, to have certain kids that sort of know what they're doing because they've had prior experience versus those who are just starting out?
Well, really, honestly, if you're just starting out, I think that's great, and if you've had experience, that's great too. I think everyone can kind of step into different shoes. Like, for instance, both of the people who are playing Charlie's, we have those roles split. One of them, he was involved in a theater camp that I counseled last year, and he had, I think, 3 lines in that show, and then the other one has never been involved in anything before. So you can kind of see that one of them had a little bit of experience and one of them has had none, and they still stepped up to the plate and are still able to fulfill the role. And then our Grandpa Joe has been involved in shows since, I don't even know when he first started, but I think it really doesn't honestly matter. It matters how much heart you put into it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I also wondered, when you are working with actors, and some of them are older, some of them are younger, and they come from different backgrounds, different schools, what are the most rewarding things of what you do as a director in a production like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Seeing their confidence grow. That's my favorite thing, is seeing the people who first stepped into the room, who were super nervous, who were holding their scripts almost in front of them because they didn't want anyone to see them say their lines, and then seeing them have multiple friends at the end of the production. Some of them even cry when the show's over because that's how much they care about it. Seeing those moments of friendships being formed, and being in the grocery store in the middle of Target and one of them running up to me and saying, "Hey, remember me?" That's my favorite thing, is seeing those kids evolve over the years and seeing friendships form.
Yeah, and as a college professor, I think I can relate to that. Getting to talk to some of the students, and maybe even having students in classes now that are the kids of students that I had years ago. So.
Not there yet. One day.
Yeah, not there. In what ways do you think, Grayson, that a director in the theater sort of becomes a teacher?
Oh, that is a very good question. I think, honestly, probably taking in that role almost like a parent in a way, of guiding them through different things. A lot of directors take on roles that they have to kind of mentor their students. That's happened a lot, where a lot of home issues or school issues are brought in and they have to kind of teach them how to handle that. And it is a safe zone for them, a lot of them. So probably stepping up to the plate and being a leader for them and guiding them through difficult times in their life. I think that's one way they become a teacher, and also just leading by example, showing them different ways, and treating everyone with kindness.
When a production is over and you've presented the different performances, 3, 4, 5, however many you have, do you ever sit back and think about it and think, well, I could have done this differently, or do you think a lot about the productions that you've already worked on, or once the production's over, it is over, let's move on to the next thing?
Honestly, I was just talking about this the other day. I never stop thinking about previous productions. I think one way I work is I constantly never have an end goal of like, this is as good as we can get it, let's stop here. I'm constantly wanting to push and push. Even if we meet the meter of like, okay, this is good, I still want to go above that. So I can think back to shows that I was in when I was probably a middle schooler, had no clue what was going on, where I'm like, I could have done that better, you know? I still, like, even Angie, I'm like, we should have done that, or we should have used this color for her costume, and that kind of thing. Like, for me, I never stop thinking about how we can be better or how we can do something different and bring new ideas in.
Mm-hmm. Well, we are about a week away when
Yes.
we're recording this from the production of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which will premiere on Friday. I believe I have it written down here. Friday, March 4th, here at the auditorium of the Community Montessori School. So remind the audience out there when the productions are going to be, when the performances are going to be, and then also where to find some more information about Lights Up Theater Company.
Yes, so our production will start on March 4th at 7 p.m. and then on March 5th, that's Saturday, we have a 2 p.m. matinee and then a 7 p.m. show. So we have 3 performances of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And if you want to find out more about Lights Up Theater Company, you can visit us at lightsuptheaterco.com or on Facebook at Lights Up Theater Co.
And Grayson, you are about to graduate from high school.
Yes.
What lies in the future of the Lights Up Theater Company?
It will still be this. It will probably just be more time and energy put into it throughout the day, and probably more productions along our way. We might have some shows that are rehearsing at the same time, and we'll see how that goes.
Well, that sounds good, and we truly appreciate your time and also the time that you put into the production. And it's been a great pleasure talking to you today on the Roundabout Town podcast here from the Community Montessori School in Jackson, Tennessee. Good luck with everything you do for the future, wherever you go, whether you stay in town or you go somewhere else. Come back to see us sometime.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
This has been a new episode of the Roundabout Town podcast from the Community Montessori School here in Jackson, Tennessee. My name is Anton Garcia-Fernandez, and our guest today has been Grayson Hart from the Lights Up Theater Company, and I definitely want to encourage you to check out their information online and also to attend Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which will be produced in just about a week here in Jackson, Tennessee. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you, Grayson.
Thank you.
And so long, everybody.